Connecticut is about to see its biggest infrastructure shakeup in decades. And the timing is opening doors most people won't see coming. Today, I'm breaking down everything new and coming soon to Connecticut in 2026, from major highway upgrades to brand new rail improvements. Ever wonder what's finally going to fix that daily commute headache? The answer comes down to how these highway upgrades connect with everything else going on across the entire region. That traffic mess between Norwalk and Westport that's dragged on for decades, it is finally getting real work done. The I-95 Norwalk and Westport Safety Improvements project is in heavy construction through all of 2026. After major traffic pattern changes in mid-2025, crews are now focused on rebuilding the median and improving drainage between exit 16 in Norwalk and exit 17 in Westport. But this project doesn't add new regular lanes. Instead, it extends ramps and widens the shoulders to stop the merge backups that define that stretch. If you've ever sat stuck trying to merge near the Westport exits, you know exactly how bad this gets. You can actually already see the difference. New concrete median barriers are replacing the old metal guardrails, and longer merge lanes are helping traffic move a bit more smoothly. And at the same time, the Stanford Auxiliary Lanes project is progressing. By early 2026, drivers will be able to use new operating lanes that connects the exit 6 on-ramp directly to the exit 7 off-ramp. That removes all that weaving pattern that's been causing the daily backups in downtown, especially during rush hour in the morning and at night. And the thing is that even small time savings can make a huge difference in how reliable a commute feels. For families looking to get into towns like Fairfield, Trumbull, or Westport, these changes could cut at least 10 to 15 minutes off your peak hour trips into Manhattan daily. And to me, that's a huge quality of life upgrade. And compared to what's happening with Briedgeport's waterfront transformation, which I'll definitely get into shortly, these highway upgrades are just the base layer of what's going on. These improvements set the stage for understanding how New Haven's transit changes are about to reshape commuting across the entire region. But a quick note before we go deeper. If these Fairfield County infrastructure changes are making you seriously think about making a move here, I'm on the ground in these markets every single day, helping families move from New York and beyond. I know exactly how these 2026 projects affect specific towns and their neighborhoods. My contact info is in the description below, so please don't hesitate to reach out. Now let's move on to what's happening at New Haven's Union Station. So what changes when a major transit hub becomes more than just a place to catch a train? You're about to see how this impacts every Fairfield County community down the line. Think about this. Your train stop goes from a dull pass-through spot to a lively downtown area with shopping, dining, and 16-story towers. That's exactly what is planned for New Haven's Union Station, with a $316 million transit-focused development set to break ground in 2026. And this matters if you commute from anywhere in Fairfield County. Throughout 2026, you'll see early site work and utility prep happening in the current surface parking lots. The project includes two 16-story towers, with phase 1 focused on building the first 280 residential units, along with some retail space. This project is designed as a transit-oriented development model, turning the station from a simple commuter stop into a real destination. As construction fences go up and surface parking goes away, it'll mark the start of a brand new Union Station district. The plan includes better pedestrian access, more retail, and structured parking upgrades that will increase the station capacity to support future rail growth. For the county residents commuting through New Haven, this upgrade creates a completely different transit experience. Median home prices in New Haven County are currently around $380,000 to about $400,000, but the upward pressure is likely as this district comes together. And this transit upgrade helps explain why the highway changes coming to Hartford matter for traffic patterns across the entire region. Think Hartford's highway project only affects Hartford? Not at all. Once you look at the bigger infrastructure picture, the impact spreads across all of Connecticut. Major demolition of the I-84 viaduct remains in the future as the state continues their planning efforts. The focus right now is on early action projects that are tied directly to the Greater Hartford Mobility Program. These are meant to prepare the entire region for what's coming next. In 2026, most of the work is centered on nearby road upgrades, including utility moves and new traffic signal systems along roads like the Silas Dean Highway. But here's where it matters for the rest of the state. The project has moved into a more detailed design work that will reconnect neighborhoods like Asylum Hill and downtown. You'll keep seeing surveys and engineering work along this corridor throughout all of 2026. And wait until you see the market data later on, how all these coordinated upgrades are already influencing Fairfield County home values. Even though full highway removal is still years away, 2026 is when the supporting infrastructure starts getting rebuilt. Local roads and traffic signals are being modernized, creating smoother connections that help traffic flow across the entire state. For Fairfield County residents, these Hartford changes mean more reliable travel on the connecting routes, especially for anyone heading north or using I-84 as a backup when I-95 gets clogged. These regional connection upgrades help set the stage for understanding how Connecticut's rail changes are about to shape commuting across the entire state. Want to see how your daily commute is about to feel very different? These upgrades are reshaping what commuting around here can actually be like. Connecticut is getting a major rail upgrade with 60 brand new train cars. They'll have big panoramic windows, work tables, and no middle seats. CTDOT expects the first Alston Venture rail cars to arrive in late 2026, replacing an older fleet that has caused ongoing reliability issues for years. These single-level cars are a huge step forward in comfort and function, especially for remote workers commuting from Fairfield County and beyond. So what does this mean if you live in towns like Fairfield or Westport? These new cars will primarily operate on the Hartford line, which runs between New Haven and Springfield, Mass., and on some branches of the New Haven line. They point to more reliable service across all of Connecticut's commuter rail network. That makes Shoreline towns much more realistic options for the Manhattan commuter. A full-size prototype was on display at Union Station through January of 2026, and it got a lot of people super excited of what's coming. Rolling out the full fleet takes time, but late 2026 marks the start of the most modern rail service Connecticut has ever had. It makes our towns more appealing to the exact buyers driving housing demand. The timing of these rail improvements lines up perfectly with the coastal infrastructure work that's helping protect shoreline communities for the long run. What if I told you some of the smartest real estate investments are being protected by infrastructure most buyers don't even realize is there? Here's what's actually going on along the entire coast. While other coastal areas talk about climate adaptation, Fairfield County is already building it. Resilient Briedgeport South End is the lead coastal adaptation project, with the Windward 2 housing development expected to welcome residents by the end of 2026. And this is not your typical housing project. The plan includes raising streets, especially the Johnson Street extension, and building a stormwater park. It holds floodwater during the storms, but on normal days, it operates as a usable green space. You'll see raised streets and new homes designed with flood protection built directly into the foundation. This project is becoming the blueprint for how shoreline areas across the region adapt moving forward. At the same time, Connecticut towns, including Stratford, are advancing coastal protection strategies through planning efforts and resilience projects right here in Fairfield County. But Resilient Briedgeport is the only project delivering a full resilient neighborhood in 2026. For families looking at shoreline towns in Fairfield County, these upgrades protect your investment while also improving access to outdoor space. The state is putting real money into the long-term environmental protection right in our backyard. Smart buyers understand that climate-ready infrastructure isn't just about safety. It plays a huge role in protecting property values as environmental risks start to reshape buying decisions. This strong foundation of resilience makes Briedgeport's visual transformation even more important for the region's future growth. Have you ever watched a city completely change how it looks and feels? That's exactly what's happening in Briedgeport. And you know what? It's about to change how people see this whole region. In fall 2025, a pre-dawn explosion took down the retired Briedgeport Harbor Station power plant. The 3 smokestacks, including that iconic candy-striped tower, were still standing, and they have plans to demo that in spring of 2026. My parents have told me stories about when Briedgeport was a beautiful place full of families from everywhere around the world. A lot of people are super excited to see it moving back in that direction, and we really do hope it lasts this time. Once the smokestack comes down, it'll clear the way for waterfront development and remove a decades-old industrial barrier that's blocked access to the harbor. With the coal plant gone, development pressure is already shifting to the nearby Steel Point Peninsula. In 2026, construction continues on residential phases that developers were hesitant to build when heavy industry was just next door. This cleanup opens up waterfront potential that hasn't been possible for generations. For families and investors watching Briedgeport's turnaround, 2026 is when the city's renewal becomes something you could actually see. Since Briedgeport is right on the coast and part of Fairfield County, these changes affect how the entire region grows and create new opportunities in the area that's been undervalued for a long time. This dramatic visual shift sets up everything I'm about to show you about Fairfield County's coordinated infrastructure advantage and what it means for future property values. Now we get to the point where all these separate projects start to show their real impact. This is how everything's coming together and is reshaping the county's advantage. Here's the bottom line. Fairfield County is seeing coordinated infrastructure upgrades we haven't seen since the interstate system was first built. Work happening at the same time on I-95 in Norwalk and Westport, new rail cars coming online, and Briedgeport Skyline changing put the region in a major upgrade phase. Recent data shows median home prices in Fairfield County holding in the high 600,000s. That commuter premium is still driving value in towns along the I-95 corridor, especially where better rail service and smoother highway flow are coming together. Towns like Fairfield, Westport, and Norwalk are set to benefit the absolute most from these changes. Improved traffic flow on I-95 and more reliable rail service work together to boost both home values and day-to-day quality of life. Fairfield is one town, but when we talk about Fairfield County, we're talking about an entire region moving forward at the same time. With smokestacks coming down in Briedgeport and new trains hitting the tracks, 2026 is when our infrastructure starts to really look different. Investments that began years ago are finally starting to show up in everyday life across this entire region. This kind of coordinated change creates opportunities that won't be there once the wider market fully catches on to what's actually happening here. 2026 is all about Fairfield County finally getting a coordinated infrastructure upgrade that puts it in a strong position as a small alternative to Manhattan living. The timing of all these changes happening together creates opportunity that won't be there once everyone else catches on. If you're serious about positioning yourself ahead of this infrastructure transformation, email me at mhydehomes@gmail.com. I'll walk you through which local towns offer the biggest advantage before these projects drive up demand. And I share regular updates on what's really happening in the local real estate market, so make sure you're subscribed. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.